This is the Wikipedia page for World's Funniest Joke and the related Computational Humor. You're listening to the podcast where we read Wikipedia articles every day and provide commentary. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and consider donating at patreon.com/WikiListen podcast so we can continue to create this show. You can find us on Twitter and Instagram at WikiListen and at wikilisten.com. Welcome to WikiListen. I'm Victor Varnado, KSN, and this is Rachel Teichman, LMSW.
Hi.
This article is about research on the relative humor in different jokes and cultures. For the Monty Python sketch about jokes as military weapons, see The Funniest Joke in the World. The world's funniest joke is a term used by Richard Wiseman of the University of Hertfordshire in 2002 to summarize one of the results of his research. For his experiment named Laugh Lab, he created a website where people could rate and submit jokes. Purposes of the research included discovering the joke that had the widest appeal and understanding among different cultures, demographics, and countries. The History Channel eventually hosted a special on the subject. The jokes. The winning joke, which was later found to be based on a 1951 Goon Show sketch by Spike Milligan, was submitted by Gerpel Gosel of Manchester. Two hunters are out in the woods when one of them collapses. He doesn't seem to be breathing and his eyes are glazed. The other guy whips out his phone and calls the emergency services. He gasps, "My friend is dead. What can I do?" The operator says, "Calm down. I can help. First, let's make sure he's dead." There is a silence, then a gunshot is heard. Back on the phone, the guy says, "Okay, now what?"
That's so dumb.
Other findings. Researchers also included 5 computer-generated jokes, 4 of which fared rather poorly, but one was rated higher than 1/3 of the human jokes. What kind of murderer has moral fiber? A serial killer. Interestingly, the joke that was submitted to Laugh Lab the most was, "What's brown and sticky? A stick." When we clicked on computer-generated jokes, it took us to computational humor. This article is about use of computers in humor research. For jokes about computers, see computer humor. Computational humor is a branch of computational linguistics and artificial intelligence which uses computers in humor research. It is a relatively new area with the first dedicated conference organized in 1996. The first computer model of a sense of humor was suggested by Suslov as early as 1992. Investigation of the general scheme of information processing shows the possibility of a specific malfunction conditioned by the necessity of a quick deletion from consciousness of a false version. This specific malfunction can be identified with a humorous effect on psychological grounds. It exactly corresponds to incongruity resolution theory. However, an essentially new ingredient, the role of timing, is added to the well-known role of ambiguity. In biological systems, a sense of humor inevitably develops in the course of evolution because its biological function consists of quickening the transmission of the processed information into consciousness in a more effective use of brain resources. A realization of this algorithm in neural networks justifies naturally Spencer's hypothesis on the mechanisms of laughter. Deletion of a false version corresponds to zeroing of some part of the neural network, and excessive energy of neurons is thrown out to the motor cortex, arousing muscular contractions. A practical realization of this algorithm needs extensive databases whose creation in the automatic regime was suggested recently. As a result, this magistral direction was not developed properly, and subsequent investigations accepted somewhat specialized coloring. What does that even mean? Joke generators. Pun generation. An approach to analysis of humor is classification of jokes. A further step is an attempt to generate jokes basing on the rules that underline classification. Simple prototypes for computer pun generation were reported in the early 1990s based on a natural language generation program. VINCI, Graham Ritchie, and Kim Bristed in the 1994 research paper described a computer program, JAPE, designed to generate question-answer type puns from a general, i.e. non-humorous lexicon. The program name is an acronym for Joke Analysis and Production Engine. Some examples produced by JAPE are: question: what is the difference between leaves and a car? Answer: one you brush and rake, the other you rush and break. Question: what do you call a strange market? Answer: a bizarre bazaar. Since then, the approach has been improved, and the latest report dated 2007 describes the stand-up joke generator implemented in the Java programming language. The stand-up generator was tested on children within the framework of analyzing its usability for language skills development for children with communication disabilities, e.g. because of cerebral palsy. The project name is an acronym for System to Augment Non-Speakers Dialogue Using Puns, and an allusion to stand-up comedy. Children responded to this language playground with enthusiasm and showed marked improvement on certain types of language tests. The two young people who used the system over a 10-week period regaled their peers, staff, family, and neighbors with jokes such as, "What do you call a spicy missile? A hot shot." Their joy and enthusiasm at entertaining others was inspirational. Other. Stock and Straparava described a program to generate funny acronyms. Ask the Brain 2002 used clustering and Bayesian analysis to associate concepts in a comical way. Joke recognition. A statistical machine learning algorithm to detect whether a sentence contained a "that's what she said" double entendre was developed by Kidden and Brunn, 2011. There is an open source Python implementation of Kidden and Brunn's "that's what she said" system. A program to recognize knock-knock jokes was reported by Taylor and Maslach. This kind of research is important in analysis of human-computer interaction. An application of machine learning techniques for the distinguishing of joke text from non-jokes was described by Mihalcia and Straparava, 2006. Takizawa et al. 1996 reported on a heuristic program for detecting puns in the Japanese language. In 2020, a new benchmark dataset and state-of-the-art classification model has been introduced based on the usage of transfer learning and BERT sentence embedding. The paper achieved 98% accuracy in humor detection. Application. A possible application for the assistance in language acquisition is described in this section, pun generation. Another envisioned use of joke generators is in cases of steady supply of jokes where quantity is more important than quality. Another obvious yet remote direction is automatic joke appreciation. It is known that humans interact with computers in ways similar to interacting with other humans that may be described in terms of personality, politeness, flattery, and in-group favoritism. Therefore, the role of humor in human-computer interaction is being investigated. In particular, humor generation in user interface to ease communication with computers was suggested. Craig McDonough implemented the mnemonic sentence generator, which converts passwords into humorous sentences. Basing on the incongruity theory of humor, it is suggested that the resulting meaningless but funny sentences are easier to remember. For example, the password AJQA3JTV is converted into Arafat joined Quayle's aunt while Tarar jeopardized Thurman's vase. That is not easy to remember at all. Related research. John Allen Paulos is known for his interest in mathematical foundations of humor. His book, Mathematics and Humor, a study of the logic of humor, demonstrates structures common to the humor and formal sciences, mathematics, linguistics, and develops a mathematical model of jokes based on catastrophe theory. Conversational systems which have been designed to take part in Turing test competitions generally have the ability to learn humorous anecdotes and jokes. Because many people regard humor as something particular to humans, its appearance in conversation can be quite useful in convincing a human interrogator that a hidden entity, which could be a machine or a human, is in fact a human. What the hell? That was the most boring article on humor I've ever read. Also, not very funny.
I liked the comparison to the biological theory of humor, though, in like modeling an AI system.
Why?
Why do I like that?
Yes.
I found it interesting.
This has been the Wikipedia page for World's Funniest Joke and Computational Humor. Thanks for listening to WikiListen. To support the show, go to patreon.com/WikiListen podcast and find us on social media at WikiListen and at wikilisten.com.